basketball!
Good morning. Welcome back to the pod. We're going to get right into this one today. And I've got oddly specific NBA stats, and you guys are going to have to try to guess what players these are. So for the first one, on December 11th, 2023, every player, 15 of them, finished with 2 or more points. It was just the third time in NBA history that 15 different players finished a game with 2+ points. All 3 games belong to this team. This happened April 28th, 2021 and April 26th, 2021. Can you guys guess what team this is?
Where all players scored more than 2 points.
They finished with 2 or more points.
So every single player on that played that game?
Yes. Well, there was
Okay.
15 of them. So all 15 of the roster played in the game and scored 2+ or more points.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's either a team that was tanking and they were getting blown out, or a team that was blowing out.
I'm
I'm
say
gonna
the
go-
Miami Heat.
It's not Miami?
No.
Is it Denver?
No.
It had to be Boston.
Mm-mm.
Shit.
If it was this year, I would say the Pacers. But
No,
it's
it
not.
happened this year too. It happened on December 11th, 2023. And
I'm
then the
thinking-
other No.
Lakers.
Mm-mm. You guys want to
Not
hint?
the Lakers.
Yeah, give
Wow.
us a hint.
Pistons.
Eastern Conference.
Bulls.
No,
Pistons.
not the Pistons. Nope.
Charlotte.
It's not the Bucks. It's not Milwaukee. Or it's not Milwaukee. It's not
Philly.
Philadelphia.
Yep, Philly.
Let's go. I got it.
Damn.
If you made it this far into the video and you're watching on YouTube, please give us a subscribe. We are almost to 250 subscribers. We are trying to hit that before the end of the month. That is our goal. If you guys can help us out, that would mean a lot. And if you are enjoying the video, please give us a like. And if you guys are listening in on Apple Podcast or Spotify, we are almost at 25 ratings. If you guys could get us to 25 ratings, that would mean us a lot. Back to the pod. All right, so for the second one, no player in history has ever averaged 30+ points per game on 60% shooting in a season. This player is currently averaging 30.5 points per game on a career high 61.4% from the field.
Jokic.
Jokic.
Embiid.
Nope.
Shea?
LeBron's averaging like 25 right now. So
Maybe Tatum. Give me Tatum.
Nope.
No, Fox. Darren Fox. What?
I don't think he's averaging 30. I think he's close
averaging
to it,
30,
It's a-
it's got to be
It's a big man.
big,
though.
man.
It is
And it's
AD?
not-
No.
No, is it
Ooh,
is it
it's
is
not
it
AD?
Embiid? Or did somebody say Embiid already?
Embiid's been said.
Mm-mm.
It's not Bam, that's for sure.
Dude,
Fuck no.
are we stupid? What?
Bro, we're probably missing someone so...
A big averaging
No.
30 that we didn't guess yet?
It's not
Are you
Wemby.
sure, Victor?
Is it Giannis? Does Giannis count as
Yes.
a big?
Fuck.
Aw.
Yeah, god damn it. See, even he didn't like it, and you got it right. He didn't even think it was legit.
When I think Giannis doesn't like count as a big man for me for some
It's a
reason.
forward.
I know that's not like I don't know, man.
But like
They-
how
whenever
he
someone
plays,
says big,
like
yeah,
it kind of makes sense.
So for the third one, through the first 15 games, this player assisted this player 55 times, more than any other player assisted any teammate this season. He is on pace to reach 300, which would be the most in a season since 1996-97. Their current record is 294 assists. Stockton to Malone
that's this year.
this year. This duo is currently on pace to do 300 assists.
I got 2 guesses. The first one is Murray and Jokic. The second one is Fox and Sabonis.
I'm gonna say Booker and KD.
Halliburton to Healed.
No.
Oh.
All right,
Is Curry
conference.
part of it?
No. Conference Western.
Ooh,
AD and LeBron?
No.
damn, that's a good guess too.
You guys want positions?
Mm-mm. Nah, well, there.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Timberwolves, Cat, and I don't really think they do too much together, honestly.
It is not the Timberwolves.
I'm looking up Western Conference teams just
Luka
so I
and
have
Kyrie.
Nope.
It's not. I don't think it's
Alright,
anyone. On
I'm
the
gonna give-
Thunder.
Did we get the team already or no?
No.
Okay. Damn. So that Clippers, I guess. Kawhi and Paul George.
I'm gonna give you guys the division they're in. They're in the Southwest Division of the NBA. Because this is kind of a hard one.
The Southwest Division in the NBA is the Mavericks, the Rockets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, and Spurs.
Could be the Pelicans.
Vassell to Wemby,
No.
CJ to Zion.
Nope.
CJ to Ingram.
No. It's not the Pelicans.
It's definitely not the Rockets. There's no way.
No, I think
Is
no.
it
He's
Green to
smiling his ass
Sengun?
off
Green
because
to
it is.
Sengun.
Van Vliet to
Okay.
Şengün.
Van Vliet to Sengun.
Is that what
Definitely
you said,
Sengun.
Miles?
No,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
said-
I
that-
said.
I said
That-
Green.
That's what I
first.
said. That's what I
Okay.
fucking said.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Kevin got it right.
Let's go. I was not letting him get that, bro.
I
He
said
got
it
half of
at
it. He
the
got
same
Sengun.
time.
All
Run
right.
back to
No.
replay.
I said it first. You can roll that shit back 100 times.
The last stats, if anybody was curious that was listening in, it was from NBA Crazy Stats. Check their Twitter out. They drop a lot of good stats if you're interested in looking at stuff like that. This last one is from Oddly Specific Stats from their IG. So this one is the first player since the three-point line was introduced in 1979 to call a referee safe instead of playing defense while Spike Lee hits a T-pose courtside.
Tim Hardaway.
Sir.
Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
fucking go, man.
That one's a gimme, bro. That's
Yo,
a classic highlight.
This
Yeah.
is my game for sure, bro. I hate to cut you off in the middle of that, but that's
No.
probably the funniest NBA clip I've ever seen in my life. That shit is it's just such a shithousery of a clip.
Why was
Bro.
Spike? I think Spike Lee in the T pose is like the
Yeah,
most
he's just
underrated
down the
part.
Down the court, bro's just bro. So funny.
Oh, man, he's hooping now. Tim Hardaway Jr. He had a fucking game last game. He's been
Dude,
playing
yeah.
well.
Bro, y'all see Dante Exum? Dante Exum hasn't hooped like that since 2K15 my career.
I
Hey,
saw
bro,
that.
I
Like,
I
mentioned
saw that
was-
shit.
Bro.
in an earlier pod, I said he was going to be a difference maker. Vic, if you run this back and find that clip, that would be great to put here.
I don't know how much substance this holds, but I have seen some reports that Dante Exum, who they signed this offseason, who played overseas for a couple seasons, I heard he's coming back with a much more defensive-based mindset and as a more mature player. So if that's true, just playing overseas ball and understanding defense and playing it with a lot more effort coming back to the league, that could also be huge for them. Now, that is a very out there take, but it is something I've heard that I thought I should mention while we're on the Mavs.
Because I said he was going to be a difference maker for them.
I do remember that.
You did say that, and I thought you were fucking crazy. Because I was like, this dude was out the league for 3 years for a reason.
Yeah, it's
And
like
then-
he went to the Euro League though. Apparently, he like came back a defensive specialist. Now he's
Yeah,
just, like,
no,
knocking-
he
getting
really
buckets.
learned how to play differently, and he found a role. So I'm glad for him.
What I think
Yeah.
is crazy is, did you guys see what 2K like? Did you see what the conversation was with him in 2K?
It was like battle for rookies, right? Like rookie of the year or some shit.
I think so.
Pretty much.
I don't know, but they basically called him washed. It was I don't know. It was kind of messed up. They basically had your my career player be like, I'm gonna be a legend, and you're just gonna be another NBA player, another washed NBA player, something like that, and like. he
Dude,
left
it's
the
that
league for
2K
3 years
curse,
and stuff.
man.
Yeah.
He was too involved. So we're seeing a lot more buzz around on Twitter and Instagram about potential trades being made. And one that caught my eye specifically was the Miami Heat are still trying to make a move for their team. 2 stars that I've seen that could possibly be traded to Miami so far are DeMar DeRozan and Pascal Siakam. And one question that I saw get raised from these 2 players possibly coming to Miami is, should Miami still try to make this trade, even though it's not a clean fit? A lot of people argued that DeRozan or either Pascal Siakam could fit well in Miami. But I definitely do not think DeRozan can fit well in Miami just because of how ball dominant he is and how inconsistent he's been this season. I just don't really see how well he'd play with Jimmy Butler. And I feel like the Heat are pretty solid on guards right now. They have Jaime, who's, I guess, technically he plays guard, right? I don't really think he's considered a forward.
Yeah, he's
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was like listed as like small forward or anything, but basically a guard. They already have JB. They have Kyle Lowry, Martin. So I feel like if they do try to target one of these players, it probably would be better off being Siakam. But this might come off as pretty disrespectful to Pascal Siakam, but in a way, he's like a bigger DeRozan. Instead of just spamming mid-range moves, he just spams the post spin button. But I would say he's a little bit more consistent of a scorer. Siakam has been playing decent this year, but I still don't think it would be a clean fit. So do you guys think Miami should target either one of these guys, or what other player do you think, or do you have in mind that they should possibly target before the trade deadline ends?
I think Siakam would probably be my personal pick for who would fit best. I think on that team, Bam is a really good big, but sometimes I think we've even talked about it late in the playoffs and just in general when it comes down to crunch time. I think it would be helpful to have another experienced veteran guy kind of down there in the 4 position, which I would assume Siakam would take. So just having like another bigger guy that's available to you, I think would be good. And then I will say that maybe what Miami should be looking for more is that guard position, but there's no saying that, they can't win with what they have, adding in just a big player, I think.
Before they go for a star, I feel like they should focus on fixing up that depth a little bit too on their bench. Obviously, a star is going to help in any scenario, but that depth is it's really what set teams apart in the playoffs when you have to go a little bit deeper in the rotation, especially that late in the season when some players might come up with injury. So if I were Miami, I would definitely focus on building up that bench first. I don't think they're going to pursue DeRozan for the reasons that we just went through, but I did see DeRozan said that if he does get traded from Chicago, that his preferred destinations are Miami and New York. So I don't really know if Miami is pursuing him as much as DeRozan might like, but even him going to New York, I feel like isn't really a good fit. I was trying to think of like good spots that DeMar DeRozan could land, and to me, like there's just really not many teams come to mind of where we can possibly see DeMar go to.
Do you guys not think that it would? I don't know. I could see him going back to the Spurs, to be honest. Or do you guys think that that's not really a possibility?
I don't think the Spurs are going to want to do that just because they're building young and getting DeMar DeRozan, who's getting older. I don't think that's the best interest of them right now.
I think what would be cool, though, about that is, say, for example, we did a straight trade between Chicago and the Spurs. I don't know. I guess I just think that Pop would enjoy having DeMar DeRozan back on his team. And to me, he's a player that's kind of already played under him and in that system. And so I just think that he could probably add some value to bringing up these younger guys that they have, because there's a lot of good guys on their team besides Wemby. So it'd be interesting to me to see them under kind of the wing of a veteran player. And I don't really see DeMar DeRozan doing much more with his career at this point. He's still a great player, but I just think that his value would be more. He would just be more valuable on a team like the Spurs, helping guys like Wemby and guys like Vassell and everyone else, rather than competing for a chip on another team, I think.
The one thing that the Spurs could definitely focus on too is their perimeter defense. They do have one of the worst perimeter defenses in the league. And I feel like a part of that is due to their youth, but DeMar DeRozan definitely doesn't help out on defense. Trust me, I've seen a lot of Bulls games. He can barely guard the worst player on the floor at times. So I feel like what they would gain almost wouldn't be worth what they would give up to get DeMar DeRozan. I don't know if it'd be picks or one of their young role players. I definitely, if I were San Antonio, wouldn't give up one of my promising young role players for DeMar DeRozan, who is kind of nearing the end of his career. So maybe he can find something in New York, hopefully get RJ Barrett out of there. But if RJ Barrett gets out of there, then that means he's coming to Chicago. And I'd rather just stop watching basketball altogether, if I'm being quite honest.
How's he been doing?
He hasn't been doing
RJ.
bad this year. I I feel
Well, he
like
ain't doing good.
I
I
don't know. He's
think
been hitting my bets.
They
he's
need
been
to
hit.
pair him back up with Zion. That's what they need to do. Have those two guys be on the court together. They'd do something special. Unless, Zion ate the table, as Stephen A said.
One thing I want to add about Siakam or DeRozan. So I don't see either of these trades being good ideas. DeRozan I'm not really sure what you're getting that's any different from Tyler Hero with a trade like that. Both guys are defensive liabilities at this point, and both of them are pretty much pure scorers. But I think I'm honestly going to take Hero as a playmaker over DeRozan. So I don't really see why you would get DeRozan, especially this late in his career, who's not really going to help you. So I personally like Siakam more, but I still don't like it. A big thing that we haven't mentioned yet is Siakam is an unrestricted free agent next year. So if they sign him and let's say it doesn't go well, then there's the possibility that he's there for half a season, and that's his entire Miami Heat tenure. So that's not good. Also, Pascal Siakam at this point in time is shooting roughly like 21% from three right now. And I think if you're going to bring someone in, they're going to have to be a 3-point threat just to help the spacing with Jimmy, who operates in the mid range, and Bam down low. I don't really see why you would pick up someone who isn't going to be efficient from three. And that might be just a this year thing, but I guess I would choose Siakam in this scenario if I had to pick one, because Siakam is also very switchable on defense. So I think a defense of Jimmy, Bam, and Siakam is a pretty scary defense. Those are a lot of versatile players. So, but final verdict, I don't think you take either of them. I don't think either are worth the assets that Miami would have to give up.
I agree with a lot of the points you said, but let's be honest here. Miami has been talking about getting every single player in free agency and then backing out last minute. So if it's the old Pat Riley way, that's what's going to happen with these two players as well.
I mean, clearly they don't need players. I mean, they just went to the fucking finals with Haywood Highsmith playing. So
Yeah.
clearly something's going right over there.
True. I also see so many things with Pat Riley. Whenever I do see a trade rumor going around, whether they'd be trading Hero or picks or Jaime, Pat Riley will always come out and say after, "Oh, they were never part of the deal. We never thought about trading them." So I was like, so where's all this trade buzz coming from then? Is it just BS word of mouth and us four idiots are just falling for it? Do you think you're just gonna get these players and not trade anything? It bugs me. After every single hypothetical trade that comes out, Pat Riley be like, "Oh no, they were never on the table." Well, if you want to get something, you're gonna have to give up Hero. Unfortunately, I think Hero probably will be part of a trade. It's just so confusing to me. It's oh yeah, no wonder why shit's not getting done. Who are you throwing in these trades?
They're trying to get more national TV games for next year. Just let them grind it out, man.
Hey, since you brought up that national TV thing, and then we were talking about the Spurs earlier, I don't know if you guys seen that meme going around, and it's of Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sochan, and it's like, can someone please tell the NBA to get the Spurs off national television? We don't want to see them run an offense.
Dude, the Spurs are actually getting so many primetime NBA games. It's insane, bro. Especially at the beginning of the season when the in-season tournament was just starting. I remember there was 2 consecutive weeks in a row where the Spurs played twice in a week on national television. And I had no other game to watch, so I had to watch it, obviously. And it was just horrible because, yeah, the Spurs, they have a lot of promise, but they're pretty bad right now.
Yeah, they're on a 17-game losing streak right now.
I think they're pretty close to the losing streak that Detroit had, but their games can be very, very tough to watch sometimes.
I think it's very obvious what that is. I think that was just the NBA scheduling basically to prepare for Wemby having a career season, and it just didn't play out that way, and now they're having to kind of deal with the consequences of that by having really boring games be the majority of what's televised.
A lot of
I
people are
just
saying that the Spurs, or not the Spurs, the Pacers need to be on national television more than the Spurs.
Oh
Just
yeah, but no
facts.
one, no one,
Yeah,
no
I
one
agree
really
with
saw
that.
that coming though. No one
for
saw
sure.
that the Pacers were going to be fun to watch this season.
I mean, this has been talked about a million times, but Sohan running point guard is just miserable to watch, man. Especially when you got Trey Jones on your bench, just like rotting
Yeah.
away.
And
Sohan is just fuck.
Trey Jones is such a great point guard too. Like he's one of those guys that very rarely ever turns the ball over. He's a very disciplined guard. He's never going to try to do anything too crazy. Is usually going to make the right play. Sohan running the point this year has been solely an experiment by Greg Popovich. Last year he played the 3 and the 4, and he was pretty solid at it. And now he's running fucking point. That is such a big difference.
And he's never done it.
Hold on, let
And
him
he-
cook though.
And he's never done it. And we're gonna start when he's in the fucking NBA.
They're trying to
Like,
get
it's-
another
it's-
number one pick, bro.
It's dead at this point. Like I don't think he's they're oh my god. They're not gonna go anywhere with Jeremy Sohan as your point guard. Absolutely not. Have you seen how he shoots free throws?
Does he shoot him? It's
Yeah,
one hand, right?
One-handed.
One
Yeah.
hand.
One-handed. He'll guide the ball with his left hand, and then he'll put his left hand behind his back, so just his right hand is like the only
You
thing
guys-
touching the ball.
You guys know who Kevin Duckworth is by any chance? 2K legend, the
Yeah.
one-handed jump shot animation,
Yeah,
That's the only
that's
reason. I
quite
know
literally
that.
what it is.
dude. He equipped
Like,
it.
there's no way shooting with one hand behind your back is better than shooting underhand for free throws. There's no way it's better.
I remember. I remember.
You guys
listening
know
to
he's not the
Spurs
point guard
game.
anymore.
They put an end to that.
As of 3 hours ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be honest, man, I haven't watched the last couple Spurs games, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
fucking know.
It says Jeremy Sochan point guard experiment is finally over for the Spurs.
Nice.
Trade him.
Sochan,
Trade
Well,
him.
Sochan talks
There we
Spurs
go.
point guard changes. It is what it is.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
he was just maybe Greg just wanted to help that kid grow his like ball handling skills. And then he's just gonna move him back to the position that he wants him in.
The thing is where is he gonna play now? Is he gonna be the 3? Because now you have Collins and Wemby and Sohan who can't shoot. That's gonna be interesting in terms of spacing.
Sohan shoots better from the 3 than he does the free throw line, which is so backwards.
That's crazy.
Spurs are going to make a new position for him called the power small. So
The power small.
Called sit on the bench.
Yeah. We got a new position for you. You're gonna be the 6th man.
You're gonna sit
Hey.
right next to coach.
I kind of like Jeremy Sohan as a 6 man. I don't think that's a complete awful idea.
No, I mean I
Definitely
think
not.
yeah. Like based on what you guys said, I think he's probably gonna end up coming off the bench for one of those two guys. Wemby or Collins.
I mean, he is a solid player. He's very solid. He hustles. He has good defense, but I fuck with Pop. Great coach, probably the greatest of all time. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Trying to
He
put
was
Sohan
cooking.
at point guard. Sohan didn't even average 8 points in college. Talk about this dude's gonna run our offense.
Bro, watching when I did watch the Spurs, man, there were plays where like he could hardly get the ball up the floor, like just getting full court pressure.
He can
It was
hardly
like-
dribble.
It was like the back down, like you throw it in and back
Yeah.
down.
Just back
80
down till you
feet from
cross
the
half.
basket. It's so
Bro.
bad.
Did you guys see the
It's
video
really
of
bad.
Giannis's brother underneath the basket trying to do like a simple layup with no
Dude
one
does like
around
that
him?
scoop layup.
He threw it all the way over like a rainbow over the
His-
basket. It was
I don't
bad.
understand. I don't understand how his brothers are so shit. They suck, bro.
I
Dude,
don't understand
thought-
how they
they're
got to the
so
point
bad.
of. I don't understand how they got to the point of playing NBA minutes and not able like doesn't even have like the normal mechanics. I mean, obviously he does, but like that was just bad. That was a bad move.
What's crazy is all of them are NBA champions.
that is nuts.
That is crazy. And they have there's another one on the way too. I think they have one in high school who's apparently
Yeah.
the best. He's better than
Bro,
all of them.
he's
That's how it always goes. But
He's still in high school.
it could have been those scenarios where they lie about the age. Like what they did, what was his name? Thon Maker.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys remember that guy Maker? Do you guys remember that guy by
Yeah.
any chance?
Yeah, I
Whatever
do,
happened to that guy? I heard he was the next big thing.
dude.
Where's he
I
at
think
now?
I think that was another situation where they said he was 18, but they found out after his senior season of high school that he was 28. You ever seen those?
Next drop the mic. Maker retrospective. I'm gonna track him down.
Hey, he
Find his
went
ass.
undrafted in the 2022 draft.
Oh, no shit.
Damn. Tough. Shaq said Bol can do. He's like, don't act like Wembanyama is the first we've ever seen. Bol was the first we ever seen.
That's
they're
not
like,
true. That's
No.
not
I don't
even
think they're the
they're
same.
not even comparable.
Like
No,
other
they
than
definitely
the
aren't.
ball handling, I think it's a very different story.
Not even
Wemby
really
knows how.
that.
Wemby understands how tall he is, and he understands his length on his body. Bol like never makes an effort, or even half of an effort on defense, or to grab any sort of type of rebound. He's
I
just
just
focused on dribbling the ball up the court and shooting one of those ugly ass pull up threes.
I just
That
feel
it literally
like
looks like a glitch.
I think Wemby is just light years ahead of Bol in terms of his like coordination. Like Kevin said, like he's fully aware of like how big he is and like I don't know, he knows exactly how to use his height.
I mean, he understands the game too. Like just defensively,
Yeah.
his rotations are just like not even in the same league as Bol. So
Yeah. All right. So I saw an interesting clip this morning when I was gathering our list of topics, and it came from Gilbert Arenas' podcast. We've talked about Gilbert Arenas' podcast an insane amount of times on our show. I mean, his podcast is so entertaining. Just because it seems like every 10 minutes in the show, some shit's popping off and everyone's screaming at each other. So it's such a good watch. For those fans that have never watched Gilbert Arenas' podcast, definitely go give it a listen. But he brought up an interesting point, and he called out Pistons rookie Ausar Thompson, saying that he's averaging 10 points per game at 20 years old, going on to 21 years old. If he was a GM, then he would not be part of the team's future, which is crazy coming from Gilbert Arenas. So I really wanted to ask you guys, is too much being expected, out of these young players first entering in the league, not only as rookies, but also their first 2, 3, 4, even 5 years in the league. You got to remember, some of these dudes after 5 years in the league, they're only 23 years old. They're our age. So are expectations too high for some of these rookies, especially with today's NBA and the amount of skill that we see?
Yeah. I'll say it. I mean, I think if you're drafted within the top like 20, I would say, and you're not a phenom, people get upset and then they say, like, well, what's the point of having this guy on the team? But I mean, I just saw this video earlier today, actually, that was kind of talking about the legacy of LeBron versus Michael and how Michael spent the first like 7 years not really having a team focus and being more about himself. And he had to grow into the player that he was. And I think that that's still true today. I think that a lot of players are immediately held basically to gunpoint and told, if you don't average 20, you're useless to us. And it's not. I don't think it's right, because I think there's two distinctions of players that you have today. You either have crazy talent or crazy hard work, and then you have the mix of both. And I think that if you're not given one of those things, you still have the potential to get to a point where you put in the work and you get to a point where you're just disgustingly good. And then that's when you see kind of the fruits of your labor reward you. But it takes time, and not everyone can be a Zion straight into the league. Not everyone can be not everyone can be a LeBron and come into the league with high expectations and then surpass them. A lot of guys end up being like Ben Simmons, and I know we hate going back to him, but again, I think that that's a perfect example of a player that has great potential because he has the talent, but the expectation for him was just way too high.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Gilbert Arenas, man, NBA legend. But man, he's got to be saying shit for clicks. I think this take is absurdly stupid. Just for reference, all right. Gilbert Arenas. Okay, wait. You know what? We'll start with Ausar Thompson. Ausar Thompson at what is he? 21 years old. He's 20 years old right now. Ausar Thompson at 20. 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. This is Gilbert Arenas at 20 years old. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Ausar Thompson has better stats than Gilbert Arenas, and Golden State gave up on him, and then he went to Washington and just destroyed the competition. So what do we have to say about that? If he's going to say that you should give up on someone at 20 years old, early in their careers. Like, that's what happened to him, and he went and dominated in Washington. So why would Detroit do the same thing? Do you get what I'm saying here?
I pretty much agree with everything you just said, except you had one bad take in there, and that is calling Gilbert Arenas NBA legend. Because
well, yeah. I mean, yeah,
I was gonna
give OG his respect.
Sure. I was gonna get into like what you just said. I was gonna say like compare their rookie year stats and say, well, you know, if you took your own advice to your rookie year, people would have moved on from your ass too.
And they did, and it was ultimately a mistake.
Sure. But here's one thing about Gilbert Arenas. I fuck with Gilbert Arenas heavy. He had a couple good years. But like, I feel like Gilbert Arenas sometimes thinks he was a little bit better than he actually was.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
100%. Like, yeah, he had those 3 good years in Washington in the mid-2000s where he was hooping for sure. But after that, he didn't really have too much to offer. Like, in what way is Gilbert Arenas' career different from Bradley Beal's? What way are their careers different?
That's
two guards that could score the ball in Washington.
That's a really interesting take. I've never thought of before.
Hooping for a mid-teams and scoring all these points that really just don't mean anything. In what way is Gilbert Arenas' career different from Bradley Beal's? Very similar. I'll even say Bradley Beal has better career. He's been playing longer and was better for longer.
Yeah.
So I just find Gilbert Arenas' knowledge and wisdom just full of bullshit sometimes. A lot of times.
I'll say it. I've said it once. I'll say it again. Also, different time in the league. Very different time. If Gilbert Arenas was to come into the league now as a rookie and have the same type of have the same level of like effort and type of skill that he had when he was a rookie, I don't think he may not even touch 10.
I mean, not to shit on the man. He was great in his respective time, but yeah, man. I mean, I just think that take is absurdly ignorant. Especially like, bro, he's also like talking about points. He's comparing points of a 20-year-old, but is completely ignoring how good of like a rebounder this guy is, how hard he plays, how great he is defensively already. Like, what is he talking about, man? Like, I just don't understand how anyone takes that take seriously.
So
Ausar Thompson, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I watched a clip and basically he wanted it as like he was saying as like a franchise guy. You can't have someone average 10 points their rookie year. It has to be better. Like if you're gonna
I don't think he's the franchise guy though. Wouldn't the franchise guy be Cade?
That's what I assumed. Cade had a lot more expectations coming out. But like Ausar also just affects the game in so many positive ways other than scoring. You know, if they really want to be successful, they could be successful with Ausar Thompson averaging less than 25, maybe even 20 points per game because of what else he's able to do. You need defense. The Pistons don't have that. They're not amazing at rebounding. He averages 8 rebounds a game. He's what, 6'4", 6'5"?
6'6".
6'6". Yeah, see, like someone that's 6'6" pretty much plays the 2 guard, averaging 8 boards a game. Like, there's more. I think Gilbert Arenas only kind of has an assumption that the only way to impact and win the game is simply by scoring. But you're not going to get 3 people that are going to score 25 plus points per game on your team. That's just not how it works.
No, I was just thinking to myself, and I think I figured it out. I was like, what would make someone, you know, say something this outlandish, this stupid? And I just realized he probably called that dude and was like, "You want to be on my podcast?" And he just couldn't do it. So he decided that episode that he was gonna call him out, make him pay. Because I just don't really understand the logic behind that.
while you guys have been discussing, I've been stat crunching over here, and I'm gonna bring up two guys who I think are pretty similar to Ausar Thompson, at least earlier in their career. Not saying they're the same player, but they have like the same play style, kind of defensive first, play hard guys. First one is Jimmy Butler. At 20 years old, Jimmy Butler averaged 8.6 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.4 assists in 26 minutes of play. And I think that is a superstar franchise player. So there's an example there. Another one is Kawhi Leonard at 20 years old, 12.8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists in 30 minutes of game time. So if that's not enough proof that that take makes no sense, then yeah, man, I'm not even trying to hate, bro. I respect Gilbert Arenas, but yeah, like I said, that shit it's just stupid. I think it's dumb.
It doesn't make sense because just like a lot of times, like coming to the NBA from college or coming from overseas, there's going to be an adjustment. And a lot of these players are going to have to make that adjustment. Nobody's going to come into a league unless you're like LeBron and just dominate the league as a rookie. It's going to take a while to adjust. The speed's faster. Everything's faster. There's levels to this shit. And the NBA is at one of the highest. So
It is the highest. It literally is the highest.
yeah, I know, but some people like to argue that it's not, so that's why I said it like that. But I think it's the highest. But
I'm kind of interested. I mean, I believe you. I'm not saying you disagree that the NBA is the highest, but what do they argue? Do they argue like EuroLeague or like Olympics? Like, what do they
yeah,
argue?
like some players will like who played in the NBA then go to EuroLeague say that the EuroLeague's harder.
Well,
Right.
I guess Luka did say that.
A lot of
Yeah.
players have said that, but
What franchise player right now that's a big averaged 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.4 assists their rookie year?
I believe I already kind of went over that.
I know, I'm just throwing it around again.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Well-
if you like didn't hear me or
Nikola
or what.
Jokic. And the reason why I bring that up is because he was a Euro player that came overseas. And like we said, there's an adjustment period and all that, but also just the fact that he averaged the same amount and now he's an NBA champion and a 2-time MVP. So Gilbert Arenas can take that.
I like how I also like how he made this take 2 months into the season. I would almost
Yeah.
respect it. I would almost respect the take a little bit more if he said this in April when the Detroit Pistons players are getting ready to head to Cancun for the summer because they making the damn playoffs. I would almost respect the take a little bit more if it was said then, but it's literally 2 months into the season. Also, Miles, what you said about Jimmy Butler and Kawhi Leonard, I would almost say that Ausar Thompson might be a step ahead of those guys in the rookie year because Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler came into the league not being able to do a damn thing on offense. Straight up bricks on offense. Ausar can score a little bit. He's shooting pretty bad from 3 right now. He's actually shooting 14%, which is horrible. But we got to remember he's on the Pistons. They didn't win a game in the month of November. I don't think anyone's really hooping over there at the current moment in time. They have a good coach. They have a great coach. They have a lot of good young players. Eventually, this team will come together. And if not, then, we'll try again. But I'm definitely not worried about Ausar at all. I'm worried about his brother, if anything.
Yeah.
But he just got bumped down to the G League, but he's actually been going crazy in the G League. But I'm scared he's going to be one of those players that's way too good for the G League, not good enough for the NBA, so then you just go hoops in like Lebanon or some shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I don't know if news has broken this just yet, but the Detroit Pistons, right? They're on a current 20-game losing streak. I think they're playing right now, so it's probably going to be 21 if I'm right about that, but 20-game losing streak. Now, that's not technically their longest losing streak. I believe their longest losing streak was 24 games. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't do quite that much research, but that 24-game losing streak was over 2 seasons. So right now, the Detroit Pistons have the longest single season losing streak, and they're on pace to break the current record of worst season which is the Charlotte Bobcats at, I think it was like 7-64 or something like that. But that Bobcats record is also during a lockout season. So they're going to be the worst record. They're on pace for the worst record in full-length regular season history. So we can basically chalk this up right now as the worst Pistons team to ever touch the NBA basketball court. Just wanted to drop some stats on that because I have been watching my boy Commissioner Dynamo on YouTube. Big Pistons fan. It's miserable over there, man. It's really hard to watch.
At least they got the Lions.
I guess, yeah. It's crazy that the Lions. How many wins do the Lions have? Do they have more than the Pistons right now?
The Lions have 9 wins.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, there's not too many good things going on for Detroit and their basketball team right now. I mean, we could already kind of just give them that title of the worst Piston teams ever just simply by watching their games. I don't care if they go on a 20-game win streak starting tomorrow. Like, this team is bad. It's really, really fucking bad. Like, they can't scrape together a single win. They can't even get close. Like, it's quite embarrassing.
They also have one of the hardest schedules, like, coming up in this stretch, too.
Yeah,
so
that's
they're
what they need.
like, it's gonna be a long time till they win.
They play the Nuggets 3 times, the Warriors twice, Lakers once.
Yeah, it can probably beat the Warriors. So to wrap up today's episode, we're going to be speaking on, again, the travesty that is the Golden State Warriors. I did say a few weeks ago that this team is doomed, and I do still believe that they are doomed. Last night, Draymond Green was back on his bullshit. Nurkic was just trying to get good position on him in the post like any other big man would. And Draymond Green decided to turn around and full-on swing and smack this dude in the face. Got a flagrant 2, got ejected, and right before we started recording today, I saw a source that said Draymond Green is suspended indefinitely. Now, the Warriors gave Draymond Green $100 million this offseason so he can be on the fucking court and help him win. But when he's on the court, he's getting himself kicked off the damn court. He has 3 ejections this year already. In 2 months into the season.
That's incredible.
And now he's indefinitely banned. We don't know when he's going to come back. I don't think he's going to be gone any longer than 2 weeks or anything crazy like that. Could possibly, though. I don't really know what the league and the committee's thinking for how long they're going to keep him out, but he was suspended earlier this season with 5 games for that first incident he got into. Comes right back, does the same shit again. Like, the guy just has no poise. 0 poise. He's literally losing his fucking mind when he's out there on the floor. He's just trying to make his presence known in one way or another. Doesn't really care how it is, whether he scores 15 points or he knocks 15 people out. He definitely is hurting the Warriors a lot. I mean, like I said, they gave him $100 million so he could be on the court and help him win. But when he's on the court, he's not helping them win. They're just in a puddle of shit right now, that team.
You know what's the most frustrating part is the fact that he's going to go on his podcast and he's going to be like, I completely own up to what I did. I've looked back, I've reflected, and I've become a better person. And we're just going to get that bullshit excuse that we always get, bro.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch his post-game interview too, by any chance?
Yeah, I was literally just going to bring that up. I said we didn't even make it to the podcast and we already heard the bullshit.
Yeah, he's like,
the bullshit apology.
He's like, I'll apologize for things I intended to do. He's like, I didn't intend to hit him. He's like, you guys think I could fully swing around and do a 360 punch someone? Like, you guys think that's for real? And like, bro, you watch the clip back. That's exactly what he did. Like, he did
literally.
Like, it's like, yeah. Dude, like, it's just delusion at this point. I don't know what to think.
I hope he does it to Jokic. And the reason why I say that is because you guys saw what Jokic said about the refs and how he's like, I would have loved to see how this game ended if it was in Serbia. And people were saying that, like, Jokic would have, like, the Serbian mafia outside waiting for the refs. I would love to see, like, Draymond lay a ham. Because like, to give a little callback, Gilbert Arenas also made a comment about, like, basically applauding Draymond's ability to, or not ability, but Draymond hitting these Euro players and knocking them around and stuff. And I don't know. I would just love to see Draymond do that to Jokic.
Funny
So
because Jokic made Markieff Morris miss like an entire season from whiplash. Like, dude,
From-
I would love to see Draymond try some shit with Jokic.
Yeah, that
Oh, y'all remember
that'd
when he
be-
pushed the Suns owner back into his seat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the fucking owner, and he didn't get anything, bro. He didn't get suspended or nothing like that. It was
Dude,
crazy.
he doesn't
But
give a fuck.
the owner was kind of instigating that situation a lot more, and Adam Silver knew that. Like he saw like the owner was kind of like getting a little bit too close to the floor. Yeah,
sure.
Jokic did kind of react in a wrong manner, but hey, you know, you're off the court for the reason you're not on the court. Like stay your ass in your seat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what
Draymond Green definitely does have something against these European players, man. What he just did to Nurkic, he threw a Frenchman in a fucking headlock.
I mean, I don't know. Sabonis doesn't count as a European player, right? He's fully American.
Sabonis? No, I think they're counting.
Do they
He has
count him as
European. He has European origins. He was like born and raised in America, though. But
because I know his dad, former NBA player, was definitely European. But I mean, if you I don't know if you count Sabonis too, but stomping on Sabonis's chest wasn't that long ago either. So
yeah, that was just last season.
Oh no, that was Embiid.
See, watching that clip back when I saw that like pop up on House of Highlights on my feed, I saw Draymond do that, and I was like, dude, does this dude think like it's like the 50s and there's no cameras or anything to catch that? Like that was obviously intentional. It looked like he was trying to get like a flop call, but I think he forgot that the refs have the ability to look back at the call and stuff. And when Kevin has said in the podcast previously that he thinks Draymond is out the league soon, I never believed Kevin. I thought he was like crazy, a little bit crazy for saying that too. But that was like when I saw that clip last night, that was probably the first time that I agreed with Kevin, and I thought, shit, maybe his time is very well ending soon.
He's making his own way out the league, not by being a bad basketball player. We've known he's been bad for years, but just of the little silly shit that he's doing that has nothing to do with basketball. Like it's so embarrassing. Like for the Warriors, for all their players, the owners, that they're still giving this guy a shot. He's always doing something crazy, man. And then he'll go justify it on his podcast.
yeah, dude, that's every time, bro.
Yeah,
every time.
And he'll just sit there in front of his freaking laptop. Somehow has a camera worse than mine. The shit quality he has, I don't get it,
dude. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
why the fuck
like,
is
bro,
it so shit?
bro? You got $250 million in the bank.
Like, bro, like he could argue, like, yeah, dude, I'm on the road when I make these, but like, bro, like, just buy a webcam. Like, it's not that fucking deep, bro. Like, what the fuck?
As
It's
someone
crazy.
Quality is horrible.
as someone that enjoys watching, what I would say is entertaining basketball, because there's good games and there's good teams, but sometimes you watch teams and you're just not like intrigued by the type of basketball that they're playing. That being said, I enjoy when the Warriors are a team to watch, and I think the biggest mistake that they made this offseason was not going harder on where they're lacking the most, which is the kind of the big position, or the 4 and the 5. And I don't think anyone really saw it coming that Draymond would just basically lose his mind this season, but it goes to show you that now I think they're going to start feeling that lack of basically positioning in the big spot, especially when they are most likely going to move on from Draymond in the future. And I'm actually surprised, Kevin, that you said you think his suspension will only be like 2 weeks. You can't imagine it being longer than that. I disagree. When I was looking at the comments of people on multiple media, I mean, Bleacher Report posted it, ESPN posted it, all of them. Everyone wants to see him get at least punished for this because it's inexcusable. I mean, even I think up until now, the other ones were, I won't excuse them or say that they're understandable, but at least like we could move on from them. You know, when he put Gobert in that headlock, I think even then we were kind of still in the back of our heads like, all right, well, he's, you know, he's aggressive, and it was after the play and it was stupid, but whatever. He straight up, like Victor said, like turned, like you can see it in his face as he's like like sitting with his back to Nurkic, and he's just like waiting, and you see him kind of like, I think he even went like this. I don't know. I would love to rewatch the video because I'm pretty sure he went like this, as if he was getting caught up, and Nurkic wasn't doing anything to him, and then he just like that's just, it was so obvious to me, and I think a lot of people agree. I think they might take 2 weeks to decide what they're gonna do, because they said indefinitely, and then I think they might hit him with a big suspension. I think it's not crazy to say that he might get a 20-game suspension and not play the rest of the season.
And
I think that's too long.
just a disclaimer for anyone who says, "Oh, on one hand you complain about how soft the league is, but then you guys don't like what Draymond's doing." This is not what we mean by we want the league to be tougher. We don't want players to get fucking hurt and punched in the face.
Like,
It's not what we mean, bro.
what he's just doing is just straight up stupidity. So
If you found the question mark timestamp in the description, make sure to comment Denver Nuggets jeans for a chance to win a Fat Dan's $10 gift card giveaway. Back to the pod.
Even when we do say like we wish the league was a little bit more aggressive, which I don't personally. I mean, maybe a little bit more aggressive, but not much. Even when we say that, I feel like we definitely do not mean bully ball, which is what I think people would be implying when it comes to Draymond in this situation.
No, when people say that, they automatically want, or not automatically, that's not the right word. When people say that, they want the league to be more competitive and more taken serious during the regular season. And I think with the help of the in-season tournament this season, I think that definitely is a step in the right direction. But one thing I want to add is Shams came out today and said on Klay Thompson that he said, "I'm told the Warriors offered the deal 2 years in the range of $48 million in extension to Klay Thompson before the season, and now there's no deal." So Klay has been playing terrible this season, and he even said it himself. I think even last game he got benched during crunch time.
Him and Wiggins,
Mhm.
yeah. I was
Yep.
going to talk about that too, yeah.
What was okay? So I don't know if you guys saw the clip of like Curry taking that last shot for the three, and then they zoom in on the faces of Wiggins and Klay Thompson. Did they like make a face or something like that, or was it just because they were on the bench that they were upset, and that was the focus of the post? I don't know if you
Well,
guys have seen that post.
I saw that Klay said he should have been benched because he had a bad shooting night, which, if I'm assuming that's true, if that's true, then the most egotistical player in the league has finally come to his senses and realized he's not that good anymore. Because a couple games ago in the post game, he was like, "What do you want me to do? Bench myself?"
No,
I mean,
let's
yeah,
get
bro.
that-
I
get
mean,
that.
that's what they did. That's what they
I
did
mean,
this game.
your coach can, and he did. But like, yeah, I was gonna get into that. What Vic just brought up about that offer just simply not being there anymore, and with that offer gone, like, I feel like they're just not even gonna offer him anything at the end of the season, which is gonna be crazy to see Klay Thompson not in a Golden State Warriors jersey. But like, a decision has to be made. They're not playing good at all right now. Klay is not playing good whatsoever. Even Wiggins. They were talking about moving Wiggins to the bench, which I feel like isn't a horrible decision as well, because they've had complaints about his conditioning and his body this season. Simply just running out of breath going up and down the floor.
Mhm.
But yeah, changes do got to be made to this Warriors team. I'm sorry, but they're not winning any more championships if they keep this shit up. Not even close.
Yeah.
CP3 was a bad pickup, and I think that after this season we're gonna see some big changes coming out of the Bay.
I think surprisingly, hardly any of this is Chris Paul's fault.
No,
I don't
it's
think so
not.
either.
It's not. But I'm saying like they brought him in, and they needed a difference maker. They had just lost Jordan Poole. Klay Thompson isn't playing as well as he is. Draymond has never been a difference maker, and so they've kind of narrowed it down to Curry is who they want to keep, and then they go and sign Chris Paul. Bad decision. I'm just saying, like, it had they made more adjustments and maybe grown their depth, or try to go after someone that filled out the 4 and the 5 roles better, I think that would have been a lot better of a situation. It's not Chris Paul's fault, but he went in to something where the team expected him to be the difference maker, and he just can't be.
You said they
I mean,
expected
it's
him.
I'm saying, like, I think the expectation from him is that obviously Curry is the difference maker on that team. He's the star, everything like that. But they expected him to influence their team a little bit. And I don't think he's really had any effect. He hasn't raised or lowered their chances. I mean, they've just basically destroyed themselves.
right, but it's so hard to say if he's done anything good or bad when the players that they've had there for years are just stinking it up. So it doesn't
Yeah.
even matter if Chris Paul's making a positive influence because Klay Thompson, second greatest shooter of all time, arguably, and Andrew Wiggins, the second best player on that championship team, are just not playing anything like themselves right now. Draymond is barely seeing the floor because he's getting suspended every other week. Looney's Looney.
Yeah.
Like he's good, but he's only gonna do so much for you. Those bench guys aren't getting the minutes that they should. Kuminga, all those guys. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
It's truly a disaster. Like, I did not have any high expectations for the Warriors going into the season. I know there was a lot of people, and even some of you guys as well, saying that you can't always count out the Warriors. I've been counting
Guilty.
out this team ever since that. Yeah, see, glad you admitted. But I just did
I
not
still
see
think
this
it.
team.
I still think it.
You're crazy. Just everything against. Like, they have all the proof to no.
They
This
said
team's
the
done.
same thing in 2022. They said the
Okay,
same
but
thing.
this is far worse.
Yeah.
Far
It is
worse.
far worse.
Like,
I think they could still be a playoff team though.
they're 11th right now. They got some work to do. They're not beating any of these younger teams in the 7-game series for a fact.
Would it
I
be
just think-
better? Would it be the best ring since LeBron's 3-1 comeback if the Warriors somehow turn it around?
Nah.
No.
No, because it's
I think it would be their most valuable ring by far. To shift your question a little bit.
I think 2022 would be their ring.
Over this year? If they won it this year, that would be absolutely insane. Don't make
Yeah,
me
they
pull up
would.
the FanDuel odds right now
I
for
just
their
think-
championship.
I just think that there's a lot of time between now and playoff times, and that I think something may change on that aspect. I'm not going out and saying that they'll win. They might not even make it past. If they make the play-in, they may not even make it out. But I'm saying that they will make that. And I personally do think that there will be a difference maker that happens between now and then. But they're bad right now. They are very bad.
Does anybody want to add anything before I shift slightly off topic, but still on the Warriors? All right, I'll go ahead and say it then. I was doing a lot of thinking last night, and I've come to the conclusion that Klay Thompson should 100% be on the NBA top 75. I don't think there's a
Why?
debate. All right, so I was thinking he's got 4 championships, dominated the late 2010s, pretty much owned the 2010 decade. I mean, they dominated longer than the Heat did. So pretty much owned the decade. Bunch of all defensive team selections. He played both ends of the floor. I said 4-time champion. He's got the most points ever scored in a quarter record, and he has the most threes ever made in a game. And he's also one of the most, people will chalk this up to Curry, but it's pretty much just as much Klay as it is Curry because they're both on the same team. But he's also one of the most influential. He was a part of one of the most influential game-shifting NBA teams. His team is literally the reason that the three-point shot became more efficient than the mid-range shot.
Yeah,
I
the
think-
Splash Brothers.
I think you put all those together, I think he should 100% be top 75 over Dame specifically. If you want to give me someone he'd make it over, Dame Lillard.
Well, when you put it on a silver platter like that, I'm going to agree with you. I do think that, yeah, he made a lot of good points. And
I was just going through his achievements. I'm sure there's more, but those are just
Yeah.
ones that came to like top of my head last night when I was thinking about it. The influence is insane. At first, like when that list first came out, I was like, damn, I don't know, man. maybe they're right. Maybe Klay isn't, but at this point in time, I think I'm gonna put Klay over Dwight Howard because I know a couple weeks ago, last week maybe we talked about top 75 Dwight. I think I'm gonna take Klay first before Dwight. But yeah,
Not mad at that.
just thinking about how much he's been struggling, I kind of reflected on like what his career has been and why it's such a big deal. He's struggling, and it kind of just hit me. So I don't know if that's considered a hot take, but that's what came to my mind about Klay Thompson.
So when you were doing that, I looked up what else his achievements were. He's a 2-time All NBA and 5-time All Star. I don't know if you've said that. And he made the 2018, 2019 All Defensive Team as well.
I mean, I guess we could kind of nerf the stats to like what year that was. What year was that? What year was that?
What
happened?
year are you talking about? The
The
All Stars?
The 75th year. Was that 2 years ago? Was that 2021 season?
It was the year the
2021.
Warriors won the finals.
Okay. So I guess he wasn't technically a 4-time champion yet, but still he had all the other stuff too. So I think that's top 75 worthy, that resume.
Yeah. I mean, if he didn't have 2 years of his prime stripped due to injury, then he had all that time to accomplish many other things, then 100% you can definitely throw him into the NBA top 75. But like I said, we could argue all day about people that should have been on the NBA top 75 list. There's a lot of players that could have been on there that we can make cases for. But then again, all the players that you can take off. The first name that we're going to say players shouldn't be on there and should be replaced with someone else, whoever we say it would be, it's always going to be Dame Lillard. Dwight Howard should have been on over Dame Lillard. Klay should have been on over Dame Lillard. Kyrie, Manu, whoever. Like, it doesn't. Tracy McGrady. Like, we could go on and on. Dame Lillard will always be the name brought up of who would be replaced.
I mean, yeah, you pretty much summed it up. But I think when we talk about like people who didn't make it, like Klay, Dwight, Kyrie, Manu, Vince Carter, I still think that Klay is number one out of all those players. I guess is the point I was trying to make. I think he's next up for players. I think he's before everyone you named. He'll for sure make the top 100, like no doubt. But
okay, I got a scenario for you fellas. It's sometime in late June. The Nuggets just repeated and won their second championship. Jokic is riding high with his third MVP, Finals MVP, averaged 32 this season. Scratch that, whatever. We get a notification on our phones. Klay Thompson has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. What do you guys think of that trade? Because I follow a lot of like not fan pages, but like I follow like the official pages of like the Lakers, the Warriors, the Bulls, and the Lakers. It seems like a lot of the people in the comment section, at least, and a lot of fans of the Lakers want Klay, and people are kind of just saying that LeBron has never really had an automatic shooter that he can dish the ball to, which I disagree with.
He's had Korver.
Ray Allen.
But do you guys think that Klay Thompson could turn his situation around if he were to make a move like that? And do you think the Lakers would get better, or do we think that it would just follow the same trend?
I think the Warriors win.
I mean,
first question,
it wouldn't.
Who made this?
Yeah, who made this?
What do you mean, who made this?
Sounds like an account like us that would make some shit like that. Let's be honest.
I mean, Klay's going to be a free agent, so if he ends up at the Lakers, it's going to be a free agent signing after this year, unless the Lakers make a trade before the trade deadline in February, which would be crazy. Klay gets traded halfway through the season, but
it wouldn't make sense to give up Reeves. I don't think.
No, it wouldn't.
He's
been playing. He's been playing really good.
I think if you give up like Rui, Vanderbilt, maybe like D'Lo, there's like a shot, but like I still don't
Vincent.
like that trade. Yeah, but like I don't know, man. Reeves is younger, less injuries. I think Reeves is just a way better player to have at this moment in time, especially with how Klay's playing this season.
But I think for all the reasons that you just said, he should be on the top 75. The Warriors would ask more, and I think Pelinka would probably go for it because he's an idiot.
Damn.
And that's crazy to say, but that team is just, I don't know.
Daniel, I'll give it to you. You tried, man.
No, I
don't think that trade's
like
going through.
No, it's not going through, but like, let's
Nah,
say
bro.
it did. Let's say it did. Do you guys think that Lakers team would get better? I mean,
No.
they're really
No.
No.
Unless Clay's playing pre ACL tear, then maybe.
All right, I got one thing that I wanted to get back to is when we were talking about the NBA 75. So who do you guys think is making the list for this? Like, do you think it's just Adam Silver himself cooking up this list before presenting it? Or like, do you think there's
It's
like
like
a
the
board of
Gunna
members?
writing with flames,
Yeah.
cooking up the fucking NBA top 75.
I'm assuming it's like the committee.
Yeah, it's definitely
Like,
not. It's
that's-
more. It's like a group. I bet.
Yeah, I don't think it's just one player being like, I bet. Oh, fuck. I added Moses Malone, but not Kyrie Irving. Like, I think, I don't know.
Fuck George
Yeah,
Mikan.
it's definitely a group. I added George Mikan instead of Jokic.
No, the thing is they've already said they're not going to take players off. So like all the old heads from like the top 50 list back in the 90s are like still going to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's like that?
Yeah, they won't take any players off.
Yeah. They just add
Wow.
to it.
Otherwise it would be like all modern players by like what 50 years from now. It's going to be no one from pre-90s besides Jordan and Magic and Bird are going to be there. Or Kareem.
Heck.
And a bunch of other people I'm forgetting. Don't kill me in the comments for that. You know what I mean?
No, I think you got it. If anybody has another name to drop,
Like
they're
like
wrong.
Clyde Drexler, for example. If they were taking people off by like NBA 125, I think Drexler's going to be off the list.
AC Jones.
You know, but like in the 90s when they did the top 50, Drexler's like on top of his game, one of the best players in the league. So like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Recency
Yeah.
bias, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it's not even bias. It's just like these players today are just like, I mean, we always talk about how the league has evolved. They're just like more evolved players.
No, I'm
you know
saying
what I
like the
mean?
committee probably has a little bit of recency bias.
Yeah, I mean, putting Dame Lillard on top 75 is definitely recency bias. Y'all know as soon as he
100%.
hit that game winner on OKC on Paul George, they're like, "Yep." No matter what
that down, write that
happens,
down.
this guy cannot play the next 5 seasons. He's going on top 75. Chalk it.
We've seen what we
Yeah.
need to see.
Yeah, like it's literally something like that.
This is greatness. Makes one.
I mean, that to be fair, that is one of the greatest NBA highlights of all time, in my opinion. That
100%.
is, I mean, what was that, like damn near a 40-foot game winner in the playoffs? That shit was, and it was that a game 7?
It was game 6. It was an elimination game. I think it was game 6.
Yeah, like
That's a bad
I mean,
shot.
come on.
Though.
Ah,
That is a bad shot.
dude, that's got to be one of the worst reasons for worst reasons for discrediting a shot that went against you. You know what I mean? Like,
He
And
yes.
the fact that it was right after the game too in the press conference. I don't care what anyone says. That was a bad shot. Well, guess what, bitch? Your season's over.
yeah, it went
Bad
in.
shot or not. It went in. He made it. He made it on you.
It reminds me of
Bad
the
defense.
for anyone that watches UFC, the Sean O'Malley clip where they're like, they're like, how do you feel about the judges scoring the first round against you? Would they rate the second? I don't know, man. I
Facts.
do see what Paul George says, like a little bit, like maybe just a little bit. It's not a
It's
shot
so
that you would
pointless.
expect, but yeah, it is a pointless statement to make because,
So
buddy,
pointless.
he still
Yeah.
made it like go
He
in.
made it.
I mean,
Yeah.
what about the shot he fucking bricked off the backboard during the bubble? You know what I mean? Oh, that was a bad shot. What's the difference? Yours
The
didn't
one
go
thing-
in. That's the difference. Yours fucking hit the board from the corner. You know, it's like what are you
Shot
thinking,
P.
man?
the one thing I still can't believe is that there's a compilation on YouTube of NBA game winners on Paul George.
It's like
For
11
11
minutes long.
Yo, what's
11
crazy?
minutes long.
What's crazy is how long the fucking video is. Dude is he's like a human highlight film in the bad way.
Yeah.
He's on the
There's-
wrong end of every highlight. He's
He
like
just-
Like
Brandon
Brand-
Knight, but for game
That's
winners.
you took that right out of my mouth. God damn it. I was literally just about to say that. Like Brandon Knight is like another player that's always on the opposite wrong end of highlights. He just gets shit on.
Paul George just gets into his stance on defense. 5 seconds on the clock. Whoever the ball handler is probably just starts hearing like music in the background.
Yeah,
Like they
it's
just start
like-
hearing they just start
Paul
hearing like,
George, Paul George gets in a stance and it's just boss music every time.
I'm the
Outro-
man, I'm
outro
the
music.
man, I'm the man.
It's just some
I was-
outro music.
I was thinking, I know we're very off topic and we're looking to wrap up here pretty soon, but before we go, I know as a Celtics fan, you guys like to criticize me for hating Kyrie, but I want to know your opinion on this because I exclusively non-biased take here. As a Celtics fan who hates Kyrie, this is no bias. I think the ankle breaker in the Rising Stars game that Kyrie had on Brandon Knight is like really overrated. I don't think it's that cool. I think Knight like it's weird because he didn't break him on a crossover. He broke him on the step back chart or the step back part of the combo. And it's just like a weird I said chart, my bad. But like he broke him on he broke him on the step back part, not the fucking dribbling part. You know what I'm saying? No, fuck the chart. Stop laughing. Hear me out. What do you think? Do you think that shit's overrated or what? I think that shit's fucking. I don't think that clip is that cool.
Yeah, that chart is overrated. But like he like when he like went to go to I know what you're saying because when he did go to contest the step back, when he went to go jump, he like slipped.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like he didn't like. I don't know why people call
You
that
got
an
his ass,
ankle
though.
breaker.
He got his ass though.
I guess, but like he slipped jumping. He didn't like slip from the crossovers. If there was ever a overrated NBA highlights 2 on this channel, drop the mic episode fucking 55. I'll do that one. That's gonna be number 1. I'm putting that on there because that was gonna be an honorable mention if I did that. So, yeah, man, that highlight kind of blows.
Did Derrick Rose hit his game winner in a regular season game or a playoff game?
Which
Playoff
game
game.
winner?
It was the one where he runs from
On
Playoff.
Cleveland?
On
Playoffs.
Cleveland.
It's game 2. Game 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they went up 2-1, right?
Yeah, it was game 3.
Was LeBron? Was that the next game when he hit the one in the corner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where he
How
said,
did you
You
guys
see,
know
he said-
before I even finished what I was saying?
Because it's
that's
iconic,
like
dude.
Yeah.
That's a very iconic game winner.
Dude, I remember watching that. I fucking got so hype.
You were
Yeah, I was
watching.
watching that shit live too.
He gave a sigh like like it was the good old days.
It was.
Dude, I
was,
remember
yeah.
I was in Chicago, so like I didn't like watch the NBA hella like that. But the next game when LeBron hit that shot, I was in Chicago. I walked into a restaurant, right? I don't remember what restaurant it was. Walked in, looked up at a TV, the whistle blew. LeBron hits the game winner. The whole bar, like the whole restaurant, just starts freaking the fuck out, bro. Like throwing shit. And I just like happened
Holy
to
shit.
stroll in and see that live. So that's what I
Dude,
always
that's-
think about. Like in Chicago, bro, they were
LeBron-
Oh.
screaming, pissed. It was the loudest I've ever heard at a restaurant.
LeBron hits
I'm glad
a
you
game
br-
winner.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm gonna wrap up today's episode with another story. This is when I was in Boston a little while ago, visiting my brother, and I was watching the Heat Celtics series, Eastern Conference Finals, in Boston, in a bar in Boston. There's not very many people in here, and the Heat were down, or not the Heat were down. The Heat were up pretty big in the fourth quarter. There's like 5 minutes left. Everyone in the bar's pissed off because Boston's losing. You know, they're very diehard fans, and me and my brother just sitting there, you know, enjoying ourselves. Bartender walks up to me, and he like looks in my face, and he goes, "I don't know what the fuck's going on, man." He said the city just lost it. Like this dude looked so hurt talking to me, and then I looked at him, and I said, 2-1, buddy. Let's go Miami. He like turned around and he like starts watching the TV, and then Jimmy Butler makes like a contested 3, and this bartender out loud just goes, "What the fuck?" Like that loud in the bar. And bro, it was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. I was so dead. I was like, I can instigate this situation so bad right now but I have a lot of drunk Bostonians around me. I'll probably get my ass beat. So I'm gonna shut up.
Get
But
jumped like it's a fucking mob. They drag
it
your ass
was
out with pitchforks.
it's always funny being like in a big city during like a playoff game and then the team loses and just seeing like the passion come out of these people. Like I thought that was funny. It just reminded me of that when Miles was telling the story about Chicago.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for this week's Good Morning Let's Basketball podcast episode. We appreciate everyone listening in. We appreciate you if you made it this far. Make sure to like and comment down below if you enjoyed. We're trying to reach 250 subscribers, as well as if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave us a rating. We're trying to get to 25 ratings. It helps a ton. And if you enjoy the content, just subscribe, look forward to more. We got a lot of good videos, good ideas that we've been working on here. So if you want to join the family, make sure to leave an impression, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.